Hola amigos, bien o no, y saludos desde Medellín. Hoy vamos a practicar y también demostrar cómo nuestra tono de voz es muy importante, puede decir esencial para mejorar nuestro nivel de comunicación hasta el punto de fluidez. Y vamos a demostrar con este texto aquí. Ese es el tema de hoy. So, hello again from Medellin, and today we're going to demonstrate, in a way it's kind of following on from what we talked about yesterday, why listening is so important to help us improve our level of language into that fluency area. Because listening helps us to understand and to see demonstrated, or literally to hear demonstrated, how people speak really in our new language. And also we can start to see good and bad examples of this, because not everybody is naturally a good or clear or fluent speaker. Not everybody has perhaps practiced how they sound, and there are different ways that some people's communication when they speak is a bit more difficult to understand. Maybe they speak too fast, maybe they've got a voice that's very, very soft, or they just whisper. So it's not clear, or they things like that. But one of the most important ones, and the easiest one to practice, because this is the thing that's going to help you communicate more clearly and sound more like a native speaker, is the tone of voice. And to show you how this works, I picked a fairly standard, not particularly exciting text to show you how you can use tone of voice to bring some emotion and a bit more interest into what otherwise is quite a fairly boring text. Because it's easy to imagine how people who do very popular speeches make them sound exciting. We've seen some examples of these, I think, in some readings I've done earlier on the channel, like JFK's speech when he's going to send a man to the moon by the end of the decade. We do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. You can easily see how you get the drama into the speech, because it's written to help him do that. But okay, but we're talking normal day-to-day type stuff. How do we say something like this without it sounding boring? Good question, yeah? Now I picked this. This is a kind of a paraphrase of the type of speech you will hear a lot if you travel by aeroplane fairly frequently. Every time you land at the new destination, the cabin crew will make an announcement to welcome you to the new place you've just landed, to remind you you've arrived at hopefully the right destination. They usually tell you the time, and they make some safety announcements about please stay seated and don't open the luggage bins too early, and thank you for flying with us and have a great day. That's all they need to say. Some of them say this too often, and clearly it becomes a bit robotic. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how I have heard this thing said before, and then we'll look at a better way to say it to show that even with this text, which is not perhaps very exciting, how you can do this a little bit with more enthusiasm, a bit more emotion. And we'll try and show you how that's possible. But to begin with, I want to give you a bad example. Well, I don't want to give you a bad example. I'm going to give you a bad example to show you what not to do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Medellin. Local time is now 7:15 p.m. We ask you please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. Please be careful when opening the overhead lockers in case items fall out and injure you or your fellow passengers. On behalf of Captain Nigel and all the crew, thank you for flying with us today. Take care and we hope to see you again soon. Oh, dear, dear. Would you fly with him again? No, no. But honestly, that's the kind of announcement I've heard quite a few times over the years. They read it from the card, they're a bit hurried, oh God, I have to do this again. And they don't think about what they're trying to say. So they say all the words a bit too fast because they want to get it done quickly. They don't leave themselves space to breathe, put some expression into the voice. So let's show you another way to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Medellin. The local time is now 7:15 p.m. We ask you to please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop. Please be careful when opening the overhead lockers in case items fall out and injure you or your fellow passengers. On behalf of Captain Nigel and all the crew, thank you for flying with us today. Take care and we hope to see you again soon. Now, similar amount of time to say it? Yeah, I think so. Sound a bit more cheerful, a bit more engaging. Would you have listened to that one better? I hope so. How did I do it? Okay, really, I'm looking to put my stress, my emphasis, where I'm putting the tone of voice, the words I want you to listen to, the important words. Words like, please remain seated till the aircraft has come to a complete stop. Please be careful when you're opening the overhead lockers in case items fall out and injure you. On behalf of Captain Nigel and all the crew, thank you for flying with us today. Take care and we hope to see you again soon. So, I don't have to shout. I don't have to speak really fast. All I do is the way I'm modulating the voice. And really lots of that is I'm putting slightly more stress on some of the more important words and less stress on the kind of the filler words. So when I look at the text, I'm looking at it quickly and I'm looking at what's the more important thing in this sentence that I really want you to listen for. What's the important thing? Oh, okay, ladies and gentlemen, not so much, but Medellin is important because I want you to know that's where we are. The time is 7:15, very important. I want you to remain seated because that's important. A complete stop. Be careful. The overhead lockers injure you, and on behalf of Captain Nigel, all the crew, thank you for flying with us today. Take care, hope to see you again soon. So I don't have to stress many words, but just by doing that, that helps me modulate the voice a bit more, a bit easier to listen to. And in some senses, where I put pauses between what I'm saying, I'm not running all the sentences together like I did in the first example. Because I stop speaking just for a few seconds, you're waiting to hear what I'm going to say next. Like, tell me the rest of the story. That's a bit of a trick, but it helps add a bit of drama, even to something as dry as this. Because most of this is safety information, other than saying hello and thank you, see you again soon. So, have a listen to that. Next time you're out somewhere, maybe you hear these kind of public service announcements, maybe on the metro or, I don't know, even in supermarkets where they read out the offer of the day. Have a listen to how they do it. Do you hear good or bad examples? Think about it. People you ask for directions, how do they do it? Do they tell you it in a nice, clear way? Once you start listening for this, you'll start to spot people who are practiced at giving you information, even fairly basic, boring information, but with a better tone of voice that makes it easier to understand, more memorable, and generally improves the contact they have with you. So anytime you're in those kind of situations where you have to ask questions, you get what you know is a repeated answer. The other person says this thing 100 times a day, but to you it's the first time. You don't know. It's a repetitive question that they have to answer a lot. See how these people do it better, because there are good examples and bad examples. Start listening for that. It doesn't have to be in your new language, it could be in your own language to begin with. Just listen to how people say this differently with a tone of voice. What are they doing? This is what we say when you look at more active listening. Listen carefully, not just to what they're saying, but how are they saying it? How is this different? How could you use a similar tone of voice to improve your connection with the person you're talking to? How could you do it? Because you can take that from perhaps your native language into the new one, and what you end up saying is going to be much more easy to listen to for your audience. You'll make a better connection and you won't have to repeat it. So there we go. That's the thought for today. A bit longer video than normal perhaps, but I hope you find this one useful. So remember, tone of voice. Think carefully about it. And on behalf of Captain Nigel and all the crew, I thank you for joining me in this video today. And so from Medellin, it's Cheerio.